All right. Good afternoon or evening, everyone. Welcome. This is our first meeting in a long time back in this space, and so it's really great to be closer to everyone, and thank you so much for coming. What a great crowd tonight. This is a public meeting of the School Board of West Bend Joint School District Number 1. More than 24 hours prior to the meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of this meeting was posted at the entrance doors of the Education Service Center and at the West Bend Community Memorial Library. A copy was also sent to the Daily News, WIBD, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and other media sources that have requested notice of our meetings. I'll ask our superintendent to confirm that this meeting was properly posted.
Yes, it was.
Great. Thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone in attendance. That is one of the most rousing pledges of allegiance that we've had in a long time. And so it sounds like you're all very, very well practiced. All right. Next on our agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would make a motion to approve the agenda with an amendment, and that is I'd like to take next the recognition of color guard teams, which is item 3A. If we could take that immediately following, and then the rest of the agenda would remain the same from that point forward. So I would make that motion to amend the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second to approve the amended agenda. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, the motion carries. And also for the good of the order, I should mention that we have a quorum of 6 members present, and Nancy Justman will be joining us shortly. So with that, we can move to the recognition of color guard teams. And I believe we have Kathy, is it Nino? Kathy in attendance.
Right up here in the front.
Yeah, please come right in front.
Facing that way.
Kind of all the way down. That's good. It's like perfect. How did that get done? That was really good. Okay. Well, good evening. Thank you for inviting us here. We're honored to be recognized by the superintendent and the West Bend School Board. Our first team, the West Bend Scholastic Regional A High School Winter Guard, is made up of 13 dedicated performers, grades 9 through 12, both from East and West. This is the 3rd year this team has been in existence, and we are extremely proud of these girls for earning a gold rating in the SRA High School Division of the Midwest Color Guard Circuit Virtual Showcase, as well as being a 2021 Winter Guard International finalist out of 105 high school guards. Their show, Mending Hearts, is performed to the song Piece by Piece by Kelly Clarkson. We have 3 seniors who have aged out this year, Kenna Culver, step forward, Nereri Cisneros, and Bella Walker. In addition, both Nereri and Bella were awarded scholarships from the Midwest Color Guard Circuit. Due to their outstanding academic excellence and years of dedication to Winter Guard, they are role models for our Guard members, and we are so very proud of all of our high schoolers. So for this 2021 virtual season, we have made the decision to divide our 5th through 8th grade Scholastic Cadet team into 2 teams this year, Badger Middle School and Silverbrook Intermediate School. We did this to avoid putting 30 performers on the competition floor at one time. Our West Bend Scholastic Cadets, Badger Middle School, is made up of 13 hardworking 7th and 8th graders. Their show, Twinkling Star Variations, featured an original composition from pianist Heiro Samino called 7 Levels of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And the performers were taught difficult choreography and equipment work. Congratulations goes out to this team for being one of only 11 competitive Winter Guards internationally to earn a perfect score and earn master rating out of over 300 guards participating this virtual season. And this team will be featured in the Halftime magazine, which will come out the end of June. You guys, it's awesome. Our 8th grade age-outs include, you guys can step forward, Addie Dent, Cheyenne Griswold, Isabella Malter, Isabella Ortega, Casey Lee, Marley Andre, and Michaela Schrader. These dedicated 8th graders were instrumental in elevating this year's show. Speaking of our 8th graders, we had one soloist this year. Cheyenne, want to step up? Cheyenne Griswold participated in the Midwest Color Guard Circuit Showcase, where she earned a gold rating for her saber rifle flag solo to Run Boy Run, and she competed on the international level in WGI, where she earned a superior rating in prelims, which advanced her immediately to the finals, where she was awarded an expert rating. So way to go, Cheyenne. Our third team, West Bend Junior Cadets Silverbrook Intermediate School, is made up of 18 devoted 5th and 6th graders. 4 of these girls participated last year. 14 were new to Winter Guard this year. They performed to Colors of the Wind, and upon entering 3 WGI prelims, they made semifinals and advanced to WGI finals, where they earned a gold rating. We are so proud of these girls, and a special thanks goes out to high schoolers Yadira and Malika for working with this team on their equipment skills and show choreography every Wednesday after school. Way to go, juniors. Thank you. Do you guys want to go stand in the front? Can you guys all go, minis, go stand in front? You can back up a little bit so I can, yeah. And we are very pleased to present the West Bend Mini Cadets. Their program is Over the Rainbow, featuring various songs from Wizard of Oz, with 13 performers ages 1 to 10. This team earned a bronze rating after participating in the Midwest Color Guard Circuit Showcase. A very special thanks to their 7th and 8th grade Guard sisters, who helped behind their backdrops with costumes, props, and tarps. So good job, you guys. Round of applause for our mini team. So lastly, I'm happy to report that the West Bend name is well respected in the Guard community, and this is thanks to our hardworking Guard members, their supportive families, and our volunteer staff. So again, thank you for honoring these talented young ladies.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. What an impressive list of accomplishments, and obviously a lot of hard work. Thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. Congratulations. That's right, and also just to be clear, after any of these announcements, we always welcome people to stay at school board meetings. However, we absolutely totally understand it if you wish to leave at any time, so. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I am making my daughter stay for the rest of this meeting. I've been on the school board for 4 years, and this is the first time I've had a family member of mine at one of my board meetings, so she's going to stay.
Which is everyone at home.
And now she's bright red. Sorry, Kenna.
Well, we appreciate you joining our meeting. Thank you very much. All right. So next, we have a recognition of retirement, and I have some information to read here. So the board wishes to recognize and thank Bill Vandenberg, who is retiring from his position as the high school parking attendant. Bill's colleagues shared words of recognition and gratitude with the board, which I'd like to share. Bill has served as an employee of the district since 1998. He has previously worked as a school resource officer at Badger Middle School and as a district mail carrier. These may have been his jobs, but he did so much more. He always went above and beyond the call of duty to chaperone at various school functions, push a lawnmower, or volunteer to help school officials around the building with a litany of other important duties. He took his job seriously and has always cared deeply about the safety of students, employees, and community members who would visit the high school. Bill always did his job with a smile on his face and a positive attitude. He's a selfless person and was well known for regularly bringing coffee and kettle corn to share with the school staff. Bill is someone who cannot be replaced and has left a lasting legacy in the hearts of countless students and staff members in the West Bend School District. Bill, the school board wishes to congratulate you on your retirement and to thank you for your service to our community. As I'd mentioned at a prior school board meeting, often people ask us as board members why we run. One of the many, many reasons is because of the great people in our district. And boy, it sure sounds like, Bill, your colleagues see you as one of those folks, and we do too. So thank you very much. All right, and next on our agenda, we have recognition of Coach of the Year, and specifically recognition of the Prudence Pick Way Coach of the Year, ERIN Spaeth. And ERIN Felber is going to be here to lead us in that recognition. Hello, ERIN.
A hard act to follow after the color guard. they're pretty adorable. We cleared out the room. But we have some exciting news here. So not only is ERIN Spaeth an amazing teacher at Silverbrook, but he's also an outstanding wrestling coach for us. So he has been voted, so all of the East and West head coaches, they all vote on one coach. And this year, our winner is ERIN Spaeth. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about ERIN and all of his accomplishments this year, and I should say his team accomplishments as well. So highlights for the 2021 year: 3 individual sectional champions. First time in school history to have 3 individual sectional champions. 4 sectional placers, 3 state qualifiers, 2 undefeated state champions, first school state champion in wrestling since 1993, became the 2nd and 3rd state champion wrestlers in school history. 1 state champion was a freshman at 170 pounds, so Connor Mirasola. And this wrestler made Wisconsin state history for being the heaviest freshman to win a Division I wrestling state championship. I know you met him a few weeks ago when he got recognized as well. 1 5th place state placer, 2 wrestlers named co-conference wrestlers of the year, 3 wrestlers named first team all-conference. The team tied for 5th place at the 2021 sectional tournament out of 28 teams and finished 4th place in individual state tournaments. So they may have had a small team, but it was a mighty team. And I can't thank ERIN Spaeth enough. He's an amazing coach. He's a role model for not only the students, but also all of our other coaches. So I know ERIN wants to say just a couple words here, but let's give ERIN a big round of applause.
Well, thank you, ERIN Felber, for the kind words. Before I get started with my speech, I just have to say this is what I love about West Bend. Mrs. Nino and the color guard dancers. Many people might not realize this, but Mrs. Nino was my 6th grade teacher, and I am fortunate enough to work alongside of her every single day. We are on the same 6th grade reading content meeting team. It's just special. It's special to see. I remember her years of hard work back when I was a 6th grader, and she's still doing it. And neighbors, and it just makes West Bend special. It's one of the many reasons, and I'm truly fortunate for things like that, moments like that. I also want to say thank you to the board for taking time to recognize me in this award tonight. I know as a board you always have a full agenda, so I truly appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to Superintendent WIMMER, ERIN Felber, for making athletics not only possible this year, but a success at that. You might not know this, but the WIAA had a very tough time finding schools that were willing to host regionals and sectionals for wrestling this year. ERIN and the West Bend community stepped up and hosted a regionals. Of course, it was ran differently than normal, but it offered the opportunity for the West Bend wrestlers and the wrestlers in surrounding communities to be able to compete. West Bend didn't have to take on a challenge like this, such as hosting regionals in a pandemic, but I'm so thankful that the decision was supported, so thank you. I would also like to thank Prudence Pick Way for creating and giving this Coaches Award. Truthfully, it is amazing to me what the Pick Award, what the Pick family does not only for athletics in West Bend, but the entire community. So thank you to Prudence and the entire Pick family. And lastly, thank you to my wrestlers. I am truly fortunate enough to be able to coach a team filled with polite and hardworking individuals. I sincerely invite each and every one of you board members to a wrestling match next year. And yes, I am banking that fans will be back in the stands. The level of effort, commitment, hard work that my wrestlers put in to being successful on the mat, but also in the classroom, it's amazing. So thank you again. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron, and congratulations again. And I think the board also echoes your thanks to Prudence Pickway and everything they do for athletics and for the community. So, a well-deserved award. Thank you. All right. So that brings us to item 4, which is public participation. So we come to the public participation portion of our agenda. I have not received any comment cards. And viewing the size of the audience, I'll ask at this time, is there anyone who wishes to come forward for public participation? All right. Young Miss Ongert is not going to participate in public participation. So that being said, we can move on to the next item. And that's our consent agenda. And we have several items on our consent agenda, including the minutes of the May 24, 2021 regular board meeting and executive session, disbursements posted to June 7th, 2021. We have ratification of 3 certified staff contracts, but no support staff contracts, 2 certified staff resignations, 1 retirement. I would move approval of the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second to Nancy, thank you. Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. We're on to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Wimmer.
I would like to just say congratulations to the East and West graduating class of 2021. Again, my gratitude to the Student Graduation Planning Committee, our Facilities Department, Technology Department, and the many, many staff members for their support at graduation, the pivot to indoors. We thank you greatly. It was 134 degrees on the field the day before, so it's just a special time and one of those milestone moments in people's lives, and just heard echoes and echoes of thank yous for the work that everyone put in on behalf of kids this year to make everything possible, being in school, athletics, extracurriculars, you know, things like prom, grad walks. It was really amazing, and that took everyone. One of those, you know, proverbs of takes a village. Everyone really did their part on behalf of students. So congratulations to the graduating class of 2021. For our public, the Go Right Way, our new transportation company, is hosting an open house and job fair on Tuesday, June 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Washington County Fair Park and Conference Center. There's a free lunch from Cousin Subs, live music broadcasted by 92.5 and 101.3 from West Bend. There's a driving course set up for people who would like to take a full-size school bus for a test drive. Individuals who test drive a school bus, apply to drive with Go Right Way, and interview for employment will get a $50 Amazon gift card after their interview. So go check it out. Just like I said, even if you want to go check out driving a school bus, what that's like. But you know, there has been a shortage of bus drivers in the field, and we look forward to creating flexible schedules and opportunities for people in our community to drive bus and interact with kids and serve in that way. So please check them out. That's June 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can find information on our website. And again, just thank you to our families for all the work that they did, the sacrifices they made to keep schools open this year. But a special thank you to Amy Brager, our district nurse, and our entire group of health room professionals who were all of our first responders in all of our health rooms. They learned a lot last summer, and we learned things on the fly every single day, and they, without question, were amazing. So just a special thank you to all the work that they did behind the scenes to make everything possible and keep our students and oftentimes our staff healthy. So we appreciate them. Just a reminder then that our summer school program begins on June 14th. It's going to run for 4 weeks for grades K through 7, 5 weeks for our high school. Younger students, as a reminder, will be at Green Tree, middle school students at Silverbrook, high school at the East-West campus. So we're excited about that. And also, I was spent quite a few hours at the high school today. Reminder that if you're in need of breakfast or lunch, we've already switched over our operations, and they started that pickup line. They'll do that every week. So again, more information on our website, but happy that the U.S. government extended some of those benefits, so that is free for all of our families, and just let us know if you need that. And those pickups are on Monday, started already. So our staff have the last couple days in their classrooms and kind of shutting that down and thinking ahead to next year. It's been an amazing year, and I wouldn't have wanted to be any other place than navigating it with the professionals in this school district, this board, and this community. The work that they've done was just truly amazing and really grounded on behalf of kids. So just an amazing end of year. That's all I have.
Great. Any questions for Superintendent Wimmer? Right, and I'll just, with regard to the graduation, thanks to Joel Ongert and Erin Dove and Nancy Justman and I were privileged to hand out diplomas. And the question that I had was, with the pivot, it was a little bit more of a casual format. So how did the students react to that? And when I say casual, they got to sit kind of wherever they wanted. There wasn't a processional, but it seemed like they reacted very positively. What was their reaction?
So the people who served as kind of attendant, helping them get seated and all of that, families came in together with their graduates. So instead of doing the processional on the way in, they get to sit with their friends. They enjoy that. They felt more relaxed was kind of the observation. One thing we learned just in time for the West was that there was a planned recessional to pomp and circumstance, but our really eager graduates at East, when we said you'll pick up your diploma in the South Gym, they made a beeline right towards there. You couldn't stop them. So they missed that part. But again, they were just really eager to show off that accomplishment. So congrats to them. But the other group, we did have the full recessional, and you know, it's kind of a nice moment as well. So.
It was an absolute honor for me to hand out diplomas. I've said it before. I did it my first year on the board, and then this was my second time doing it. When I got home, I was so excited. I was talking to my family about it the entire afternoon, and then I tuned in to watch West and their graduation. I thought both graduations were exceptional. The student speakers, the student music performances, and then Mr. Menzel was the main speaker at East, and Renee Wilbur, I said that right? Yep. Kindergarten teacher at West. If you haven't seen that speech, it was phenomenal. And then, of course, at West, we had a young man who received a diploma, turned around and did a backflip right in front of Nancy Justman's face, and her mouth opened so big, and there's video of that.
As I gave him his diploma, he said, "Stand back." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Stand back." And I said, "Oh, my goodness." So
It was cool.
Ms. Wimmer's face was probably as shocked as
Yeah,
mine as well.
and he survived. He did not get hurt or anything, but I just wanted to say it was an honor for me to do it. I won't ask to do it again next year because I had the privilege of doing it this year, and I hope the rest of you who didn't get to do it this year get a chance to do it next year. The highest honor of being a school board member, in my opinion, is being there at graduation to shake those kids' hand and give them a diploma. And of course, thank you to the staff and administration and teachers who got the kids to that point to get that diploma. So it was an honor.
I would just echo Joel's comments, and I would say that having the kindergarten teacher there was absolutely the highlight. I mean, there were tons of people in the audience who came up to us afterwards and said, "That was the best speaker I've ever heard," and I've sat through a lot of graduations. So, you know, I had spoke to Mr. Slash afterwards. I mean, I really think if we could open that up, you know, to allow a kindergarten teacher to address that group every year. The kids absolutely loved it. Every kid that I spoke to just thought it was marvelous. And, you know, the fact that she actually had so many of those kids, you know, I think she said 14 of them or whatever it was, but that she could call them out was super cute. But even the fact that she couldn't, just to, you know, talk about what I taught you 13 years ago still is true today. And it was so well done, and she was marvelous. But I really think we should start that as a new tradition because it was really wonderful. And, you know, if we run out of kindergarten teachers, I'm sure a first grade teacher might be able to step in.
Great comments. All right. Thanks, everyone. Now, moving on to the next item. We have one action item on the agenda, which is approval of the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction School District Flexibility Application, and Superintendent Wimmer will present that topic.
This is the second year that the flexibility waiver is available. Last year, they didn't require board authorization to sign it, but that is one piece that they require. You'll recall, out of the 65 different boxes of waivers that schools could select, we only needed to check 2 boxes. We asked for flexibility in our school calendar. We were still well over the majority of all of our campuses in instructional minutes, but we wanted the flexibility in some places, and we're able to do so. Recall that that decision was November 9th and November 16th. We had public meetings. We did some work on the calendar and that. And then the only other place that we felt we needed a waiver was the educator effectiveness model is the supervision and evaluation program that we utilize for all of our staff. And in there, some of the data and some of the pieces, there's 2 parts. It's called either a student learning objective where you work with a small group around specific data points, or a PPG, which is a personal professional goal. So we ask for flexibility with our staff in setting those, but we still supervised and evaluated our staff, complete those evaluations, not a waiver on any of those components. So we were seeking flexibility on just those parts of it. So those were the only 2 pieces. Like I said, out of 65 possible places to have needed flexibility, just another testament to the great work that our staff did this year. So we just need formal action to show that we're approved to sign that waiver.
Motion to approve?
Motion and second, thanks Joel, second by ERIN, to approve the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction School District Flexibility Application as presented. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next item is an information item, and Laura Jackson will be leading us through this one. It's the literacy plan progress and revisions.
Yes.
Good evening.
So thank you, everybody. It's good to be before the board, and I'm excited to get to talk to you a little bit about our literacy plan. And if you recall, in the 2018-19 school year, we brought forward a comprehensive literacy and learning model for the district that encompasses professional growth and improves our student outcomes in literacy, but it does that in a very step-by-step approach. And one of the huge benefits of the comprehensive model that we selected is that it is all research-based on high-quality instruction and not tied to a specific product by a specific vendor. And so we have been implementing that starting with the 19-20 school year. So in 18-19, we laid out a 3-year model and then began that implementation in the 19-20 school year, which, as you know, was the first year of our pandemic. And so we got some legs and started rolling with it, but then needed to revise some of our procedures and some of the things we were implementing. So the plan, as we presented at the start of this school year, was modified from the original 3-year plan. And I'm going to share a little bit about what we have done with our approach to literacy and learning and how that's expanding and what we're going to be implementing at the start of next school year. So, and this won't be the first time you see it. You will again see this coming forward in August. So in the 19-20 school year, we began with implementing first a strategy for teaching called conferring. And what that really is about coming alongside the child to do some just-in-time teaching and talking with them about the strategies they're using and how that is helping them grow as a reader and a learner. That year we also, you approved the purchase of our new word study program, which we have begun implementing. We looked at independent structures in our first year and started our language workshop planning. Well, language workshop planning continued this year, and the implementation of language workshop began this year. The process used in planning that brought teachers together from across the district. So every grade level had representation from each building, and then they went back to their buildings and served as models in the implementation process of the language workshop. When you think about reading and comprehension and being able to decode words, so much of that is dependent upon the language that you have and the language that you possess. All of these processes are very reciprocal. Now, when you think about learning a new content, understanding the vocabulary of that content is really important so that you know what the words mean and what meaning to apply to a new situation. So that language workshop approach impacts students across the curriculum. This year, we began our planning of our units of study. We did not pull teachers out of the classroom as we would have originally done that until the very end of the school year. And then we started pulling some out. So some had the professional development today, some have the professional development tomorrow, in which they will go through their first unit of study for next fall. And then throughout the year, the teams will continue planning the units of study and then sharing them with their colleagues for implementation prior to the quarter in which they're implementing them. So feedback from our teams, they were grounded in how we go about unit design in the system and revisited that process of unit design. And again, the first grade units were planned with a first grade representative from each school in the district. So that team at each site can rely on the person who planned for some feedback and any questions when they get to implementation. Additionally, every school was represented, so it's not a we do this at this school, we do this at this school, but it is a system-wide approach to our units of study. And the units of study process pulls together those, again, the key tenets of what helps someone become literate, and applies those strategies for reading and developing knowledge to a focus in another curricular area, in this case in social studies. And as our teachers go ahead and implement the units of study in literacy, it will reinforce all of the social studies content and knowledge that is defined in their units of study. Our model classroom teacher, you heard from our model classroom teachers about this time last year. And we had, as you may recall, we expanded that program to include additional model classrooms so that each building has between 2 and 3 model classrooms. What the model classroom teacher does is they serve as a leader. They are first trained on something. They implement it with coaching from the literacy specialist. And then they serve as a person, a resource that other teachers in the district can come visit and watch that instruction occurring. So we are up to, in some schools, 3 per site, in some it's 2. And I think that process has been evolving and growing quite well. In the plan that was shared with you, the front matter of the plan has remained consistent. And then, yes, I'm sure it looks familiar because that's been a consistent part of the process. And the new implementation identifies the goal for this upcoming year and how that will move forward. Are there any questions about the literacy plan?
Well, you talked about model classrooms, that there's about 2 or 3 per building. Is that the number we're shooting for? Are we shooting for more, or is that about right?
Ideally, it'd be nice to have 1 in every grade level per building, and that we're going into our 3rd year of implementation, so I think that's a good place to be. It'd be nice to have 1 per grade level eventually, and we will continue to add. So they're all learning similar strategies, but how does that apply at a 1st grade or a 6th grade or a 5th grade or an 8th grade level? And you can go and see the same strategy in each classroom. but how is that used with students at a different level of comprehension? And so you don't have to have one per grade level. So sometimes as you go through the implementation process, you end up with a couple at a grade level, and that's okay, as long as we have people within and across the district that everyone can go to. So our very first year of implementation, we made sure we have 5 elementaries with 5 grade levels in, so we had one at each grade level in each building, or one each in each grade level, because there was only one per building. So then the next year, we added grade levels at each site, but we're not yet to all.
Thank you. Sounds like a very collaborative approach. Other questions?
What is the measure of success for our literacy plan?
Excellent question. So as we are, we're first looking at teacher practice and then how that will impact our student outcomes. If we had standard implementation years, I would expect to see that this coming year we'll see more impact on our results. We've had some disrupted learning and are striving to address that so that we remain on stride with our outcomes. So I would delay that a little bit more. But some measures right now are the feedback that we're getting from staff on like some of the statements about how they feel about how much better they know their students and how much more prepared they feel to address certain things on the fly. And those are significant considerations. And frankly, that all teachers in the district have the same strategy and the same expectation to utilize that. You're able to have some deeper conversations about student learning. So we've seen those conversations growing with and then that being applied to the classrooms. We won't yet see that like in our forward data for a little bit of time, I think.
So Laura, you mentioned a 3-year implementation, and obviously we've had a few obstacles to deal with. So are we 2 years removed from quote-unquote completion, or what's the time frame?
So one of the things about the model, and while it's a partnership in comprehensive literacy is who we're working with, but it's about comprehensive instruction. So once we go through our first 3 years of implementation, and we'll start this process partway into next year, you're revising for the future and looking at what's next, because it really is a model of continuous improvement as well. So I don't think we'll ever be fully done because it's about continuous improvement. So once we've implemented across the 10 features of the literacy plan, then we'll be circling around and refining some of those processes that we've already implemented. So it's not that this goes away after an implementation, because it's about best practices of instruction.
Sure.
And those 10 features remain part of your literacy learning period.
So then, maybe restating the question, how long before all 10 features are in place and being revised, refined, tuned, et cetera?
So as we grow through next school year, we'll do our units of study, and we will revisit the ones that are already implemented in order to check on progress and maintain that.
Okay.
And then we'll add in the writing components will begin, and we'll be, again, planning, implementing, and then coming back around.
Do we have a risk of students that were positively impacted from this year in, pick a grade, 3rd grade, and we've seen they've seen benefit from the process, and as they move up to 4th grade, is there a possibility that classroom or that grade doesn't have some of those components in place yet, and are they getting excited about this and then they hit a gap?
That's a great question. We have walked through the implementation of the features across the whole system, and across all grade levels. So the rigor might look different in that 4th grade classroom, but the same features have been implemented, so that all of the students, as they roll up, the exposure they've had continues. As we are, when you just adopt a textbook, you implement the new textbook and then put the other one aside. So there are components of benchmark literacy that are still ongoing because, again, that's our resource. We've implemented guided reading strategies and the independent structures that allow that to happen. So they're utilizing those textbooks or those guided reading books at the child's independent level, so less reliance on benchmark literacy in that area. When you approved the word study, we're no longer relying on benchmark literacy for word study because the new word study process has been approved and implemented. So,
Great. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Laura. Appreciate it. Thank you for the information. All right. Next, we have our Curriculum Committee report. The Curriculum Committee, I believe, last met on June 1, 2021, and ERIN Dove, Chair of the committee, will give us an update.
Yeah, thank you. We had a number of things on our agenda on the first. All of them were just discussion items. Our first item was the annual at-risk plan, which includes changes implemented in the 2021/22 school year. And if you remember, it's an annual at-risk plan that the board will have to approve prior to the next school year. The changes on the plan include clarification of how parents will be notified of and involved in the discussion and determination of a student being identified as at risk. The revisions document that a student who completes their graduation requirements through the GED 02 program will also receive a regular West Bend High School diploma. And the plan also updates specific curricular options at the high school. The second item was the annual parental notice of academic standards. In July, the board will review the annual parental notice of academic standards, and we had a chance to just peek at it this last week. And we noted that the literacy standards adopted earlier this year are on the new notice, and the old literacy standards are removed. And then also noted that math will have the current board adopted standards, and then in addition to new Wisconsin standards for mathematics, because math teams will be reviewing those standards in this upcoming school year. We also discussed the literacy plan progress and implementation updates, as Laura just presented, so I won't go into detail on that. We talked about the title programs. There's 4 federally funded title programs that the district utilizes and administers them for the qualifying private schools. Those include Title I, which is improving educational outcomes in reading and math through supplemental instruction. Title II, attracting and retaining high-quality teachers and administrators, professional development and training. Title III, improving educational outcomes for English learners. And Title IV, student support and academic enrichment, equitable opportunities, and safe technology. And then finally, we had the opportunity to review a draft of the annual curriculum plan, which will come before the whole board for review in August. In reviewing the draft, curricular areas of focus were discussed, along with how those areas impact the department budget. Federal, state, and local accountability was also highlighted in discussion. And then finally, we are going to be skipping over July, and our next meeting will be August 3rd.
Great. Any questions for ERIN on the work of the Curriculum Committee?
ERIN, could you take a moment and just update us on where we are in the process regarding 6th grade social studies? 3 to 4 months ago, we had a lot of feedback in the community, obviously, and I know we were kind of revisiting that, so interested as to where that sits.
Sure. So the resources are on hold, and social studies did come up at the meeting as we were talking about the literacy plan that Laura, Ms. Jackson, was just talking about. And the social studies team, the 6th grade social studies team, is working on their units of study right now. So we kind of got a simple approach to figure that out, and they deal with first with the standards, and then they develop the curriculum, and now they're really digging into what those units of study look like. And from there, they'll start examining resources again and see what fits into those units of study.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for ERIN? Thanks for your work and the entire committee for their work on important issues. All right. So next, we're on to future agenda items, our board meeting calendar. So our next regular board meeting will be June 21, and then we have one board meeting scheduled in July, and that's July 26. Well, Joel's asking, June 21, really? That's what I do have listed here. Let's just confirm for a second. Is that right? That's right, 2 weeks from today. Okay.
Was thinking about that golf outing, and it's on the 28th.
Okay. Well,
Foundation golf outing is on the 28th, and we are looking for 2 more foursomes if anybody wants to play.
all right, yeah. Excellent. So it does not conflict with the West Bend Public Schools Foundation golf outing, so that's good. So June 21 and July 26. All right. So that's our board meeting calendar. Are there any items for follow-up and communication? Any items at this point that we'd like placed on a future agenda? All right, hearing none, we have an item to consider in executive session. So I would move pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and take any such action if necessary based on its discussion, namely compensation. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Thanks, Paul. Motion and second to adjourn into executive session. Any final discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you again. Joe always reminds me, appropriately so, that board policy requires that we do this as a roll call vote. And so to adjourn into executive session, I will pull out my random roll call slip. All right. Motion and second then to approve and to adjourn into executive session. I will now call the roll. Mr. Rebholz.
Yes.
Mr. Zweigart votes yes. Ms. Dove.
Yes.
Ms. Justman.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
Yes.
Mr. Unkert.
Yes.
All right. We are unanimous. We are adjourned into executive session. Thank you, everyone.